Okay, the last part of the notes we're going to do is multiplying fractions times whole numbers. Before we start, I want you to look at these first two examples we have. And I want you to understand that you should be able to use the first example to solve the second example. Some of these problems are things that you can do in your head, although I do want you to show your work all the time. So let's look at 1/3 times 12. We know in our first step that things need to be written in A over B form to be able to multiply. So if I'm looking at 1/3 times 12, I know that I have 1/3, that's already A over B, times 12 over 1. If I simplify on the diagonal, I see that 3 actually goes into 12. And that's something I need you to start looking at or noticing when you're multiplying fractions times whole numbers. Does the denominator go into the whole number you're talking about? So 3 does go into 12. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 12 4 times. You notice all you're left with are 1, 1, 1, and then this 4. So when we multiply across, 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. And that equals 4. So a third of 12 is 4. And that easily works because you saw that 3 went into 12 4 times. You're basically breaking 12 into 3 equal parts because you're finding 1/3 of it. You should be able to use that information in the second example, and we'll talk about it after we solve this the normal way. So I'm going to take 2/3 times 12 over 1. I see again that 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. I look at my other diagonal, 2 and 1, nothing I can do there. I check my verticals, 2 and 1, nothing. 4 and 1, nothing. So I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. And 8 over 1 equals 8. Now I want you to think about this problem. If we're taking 2/3 of a number, and remember how we talk about fractions, 2/3 means 2 equal pieces of size 1/3. So if you're actually thinking about this, if you say, well, I know 1/3 of 12 is 4, and I need 2 of them, it's just 2 4s, which equals 8. So you can use that unit fraction when you're multiplying by whole numbers to help you find the answer. In this one, the unit fraction was 1/3. You know 1/3 of 12 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then there's, of course, always using the entire process that we have here. All right, let's look at a different type of example. In these, we are finding a fraction of a whole number. Let's say we're looking at the first example here, 4 times 5/8. 4 of 5/8, that means. So that means repeated addition. You're finding 4 5/8. So I'm going to write it as 4 over 1 times 5/8. Now you'll notice this unit fraction, 1/8, does not go into 4. So we have to solve this normal. I look at my first diagonal, 1 and 5. Nothing goes into 1 and 5. 4 and 8. I know that 4 goes into 4 one time. I know that 4 goes into 8 2 times. Check my vertical numbers. I have 1 and 1. That doesn't simplify. And 5 and 2. That doesn't simplify. So now I'm going to just multiply across. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. And I'm left with 5 over 2, which at this point we know is not a proper answer because it's an improper fraction. I know that 2 goes into 5 2 whole times, that's 4. So there's 1 left over out of 2. That cannot be simplified, so my answer is 2 and a half. All right, if you want to look at the last example, 2 times 3 and 2/7, notice that both of these need to be written in A over B form. Try that one out on your own, and we'll see how you do. Okay, so let's see. You should have 2 written as 2 over 1, and 3 and 2/7 as 21 plus 2 is 23. Oh, that is wrong. No, it is not. 23 over 7. When you looked for any simplifying in this problem, you should have noticed that you can't simplify 1 and 23. You can't simplify 2 and 7. 2 and 1 are already simplified. 23 and 7, can't do anything there. So you're actually just multiplying across. 2 times 23 was 46. 1 times 7 is 7. In changing this one, 7 goes into 46. 6 whole times, that's 42, with 4 left over out of 7. This cannot be simplified anymore, so your final answer is 6 4/7. All right, time for you to practice. Good luck.